what it. So if you know the song, sing it, 'cause I need it done. Take me to a place where the music's loud. I don't wanna think right now. Flashing lights running through the crowd. I don't ever wanna stop. So let's get out. Let's get out. I got money in my pocket and I'm about to fucking drop it with you now. With you now. Tear the roof off every building. I know I'll be spending millions with you. Just tell me what you wanna do. So let's get out. Let's get out. I got money in my pocket and I'm about to spend it all.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. It does not matter. It does not matter who the host is. Anyways, today is, what is it? It's Wednesday, February the 2nd of 2022, day 33 of the year, and only 332 days remaining before it is all over with, all done, all afuera, all the fun stuff that you want to deem important as we are talking. Anyway, so we are hanging out in our studios in Orlando, Florida with good old Safety FM, just in case if you didn't know where we're broadcasting from. And of course, we are with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff with.
Radio.
So there you go, hanging out at Radio Big, always doing stuff at Safety FM, doing all that kind of fun stuff on this lovely day. Anyway, so let's start talking right away about what was trending in the overnight. Tom Brady was trending number 1 on Tuesday as he announced his retirement officially yesterday on Insta, just in case. Twitter reacted to Whoopi Goldberg's comment about the Holocaust and, subsequently apologized. Some forgave her, and then others, called for the cancellation. We'll talk about that a little bit more further down the road here. HBCU was trending on Tuesday after CNN's reported that at least 13 historical black colleges reported bomb threats. No word whether they were credible or not. Hashtag Mountain of Bush landed on Twitter's top 10 trends as Bush drinkers entered for their chance to win mountains worth of Bush Light. Tell me what a mountain's worth of Bush Light consists of. I think I want to know that a little bit more, have a better understanding of that, because I find that a little bit intriguing for sure as we are talking. So there you go. That's what was going on inside of the overnights and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's talk about some books, because we need to do that. Top fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times Bestsellers list. In the number 5 category, in the fiction category, was Ugly Love. At number 4, One Step Too Far. At number 3, Verity. At number 2, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. At number 1, It Ends With Us. Wow. You go from a love story to It Ends With Us. And Colleen Hoover is on there twice, by the way. In the nonfiction category, at number 5 was Unthinkable by Jamie Raskin. At number 4, the 1619 Project. At number 3, The Betrayal of Anne Frank. At number 2, the body keeps the score. And at the number 1 mark, it was enough already. So there you go. So that's what's going on inside of there. So if you're not familiar with the show, it kind of goes in this similar format. We talk about what's going on inside of the world of the news. The world of the news comes to us. We go to it. And then we come back and we ponder about things that are going on inside of life, because that's the way that it goes from time to time. So let's bring in our friends at Feature Story News and let them have us or tell us exactly what is going on inside of this lovely world of ours.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Russian President Vladimir Putin says the US is trying to draw him into war in Ukraine, and he insists Washington is ignoring Moscow's concerns about security in Europe. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the Americans are working to prevent a conflict that's in no one's interest. France has become the latest European country to loosen COVID-19 restrictions. The Omicron variant is dominant in the country, which recorded more than 400,000 new cases on Monday. Across the EU, though, many national governments are cautiously taking steps towards reopening society. Rosie Burchard reports from Brussels.
Under the new rules in France, masks are no longer obligatory outside. The limits on event capacity have been loosened, and the obligation to work from home is being transformed into a recommendation. Though COVID-19 case numbers have been falling, they remain high, and government officials say they remain cautious. France recently tightened rules on its vaccine pass, further limiting access to public life for those who turn down COVID-19 shots. Elsewhere in the EU, countries including Belgium, Denmark and the Netherlands have also recently lifted certain COVID-related curbs.
India's boosting spending on public infrastructure, committing $500 billion to drive growth as part of its annual spending plan. But concerns remain about inflation and job losses, as Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Authorities say the $500 million will generate millions of jobs in the long run. They're also incentivizing manufacturers to produce more by offering them more funds. Country's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says these measures will make India a leader in the manufacturing sector. Analysts say the country's spending plan doesn't offer much relief for the middle class. Expectations were that officials will cut personal income tax rates. But the government says its spending plan is a snapshot of its bigger plan for the next 2 decades. There are concerns over the country's widening fiscal deficit, and many worry that inflation will make even the basic needs unaffordable for many. But officials say as the economy gets back on track in the next few months, the situation will improve.
The UK government's unveiling its long-promised so-called levelling up strategy. The plans include bringing public transport across England up to London standards, improving access to 5G, and regenerating the most run-down town centres. Opposition Labour says the plans don't contain enough new money and are short on new ideas. Levelling Up Minister Michael Gove says the funding going to communities is, in fact, new.
It's a perfectly standard argument. Where's the money coming from? When's it being spent? But if you are in Wolverhampton or Sheffield and you're getting new cash to invest in your city centre, that is new money. It may have been the case that a sharp-eyed political journalist will note that it was moved from one government account to another in October or November, but the reality is that it's new money that makes a difference when you get it in your community.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. For the rest of this week, we're going to hear from one of the preeminent analysts of Russia, its aspirations towards Ukraine, and its relationship with the rest of the world. Angela Stent is a professor at Georgetown University, a former State Department official, and a former advisor to NATO. When she speaks, governments listen. So does she think the Russian president is about to send his forces marching across the border into Ukraine?
I don't think it's imminent. I don't think anyone thinks anything's going to happen, at least until the first phase of the Beijing Olympics is over, and that would be February the 20th. I think the Russians are not de-escalating. They're making us wonder about whether an invasion is imminent. If you think about it, they have us all sort of dancing and traveling around. Look at all the visits between the U.S. President, Secretary of State. We've had all these visits everywhere, and we are dancing essentially to Putin's tune. He set the agenda, and we're responding. So I don't think, there's any incentive for them now to invade and then invoke, possibly very large sanctions.
Tomorrow, her view on those sanctions and how carefully they need to be calibrated if they are to avoid hurting the US and its European allies in addition to the Russians. And at the end of the week, Angela Stent's view on the role China is playing in the growing tensions over Ukraine. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Russian President Vladimir Putin says the US is trying to draw him into war in Ukraine. France has become the latest European country to loosen COVID-19 restrictions. India's boosting spending on public infrastructure, committing $500 billion to drive growth as part of its annual spending plan. And the UK government's unveiling its long-promised so-called levelling up strategy. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes in life you have those moments of shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time to people. So let's talk about that very sensitive subject of male pattern baldness. Don't go through that moment where you're going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35. With more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. You don't have to be one of them. Think about this. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and my friends at Keeps offer both. Keeps offers simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor's consultations and medication delivered straight to your door. I mean, I have to tell you, just for the whole sake of not having to leave your house to have the consultation, that should sell itself. But the low-cost treatments start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. Discreet packaging and proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. I want you to think about that. People love the product. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast. All you have to do to take action to prevent hair loss is to go to keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/safety. to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month free. That's KEEPS.com/safety. Remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head as mine. So don't be saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Act on Keeps right now.
safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, Rated R Safety Show, 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this fantastic Wednesday that I want to call Tuesday for some God unknown reason, because, I want to go back into the future. So anyways, let's continue talking about the things that are going on inside of the world as we're hanging and banging, doing and moving and grooving and doing everything across the board right now. Anyway, so let's get into the news, because that is going to be important as we are talking on this lovely Wednesday. Anyways, let's talk about the science. Let's follow some of it from the Johns Hopkins Institute for Applied Economics, Global Health, and Study of Business Enterprise. Study lockdowns have little to no public health effects, and they have imposed enormous economic and social costs where they have been adopted. In consequence, lockdown policies are ill-founded and should be rejected as a pandemic policy instrument. So this is something that was actually listed, as you can tell, by Johns Hopkins Institute of Applied Economics. Meanwhile, in Ottawa, hotel rooms are virtually sold out across Ottawa, Canada this weekend, ahead of what is being expected and expanded as the anti-mandate protest. Amid of the downtown gridlock, Ontario Premier Doug Ford said that while he supports truckers, they need to go home and let people in Ottawa go back to their lives. Here's what their lives look like in Ottawa. Indoor gathering limited to 10 people. Outdoor gatherings limited to 25 people. Full-time masking in public spaces. Health screening before anyone enters any building open to the public. Proof of vaccination for virtually all public gatherings. What else do we have? Bars and restaurant limited to 50% capacity. And let's see, 2-meter distance between outdoor tables. Going back to their lives is exactly what the truckers want too. Meanwhile, truckers parked in the Ottawa set up pizza ovens on Tuesday, offering free pies both to everyone in the cause as well as nearby homeless people. Multiple reports indicate that Mayor's Office of Ottawa has contacted towing companies to get the trucks out of there, but the company said that they're unable to help because their drivers have COVID. But wait, Tuesday night, Justin Trudeau condemned the truckers and protesters of the anti-ism. So there you go. Some things that have come about. In other words, he got nothing. He got nothing coming to the man to that particular way. In occasion war. So in occasions he has done some things that people have considered questionable. By the way, so this is something that is going to be ongoing, as you can tell, just in regards of the information that we're able to actually go over and discuss. As you can tell, there are a lot of people going back and forth on this gig. There are a lot of people that are wanting to comment on what's going on. I will tell you, as I get to hang out and take a listen to a lot of things that are going on inside of our neck of the woods here, it's amazing just to hear on how some people are really excited about what's going on inside of here. Also, with some people saying that they would love to see something similar to this go on inside of the U.S., as we had discussed yesterday.
Duh.
So it'll be interesting to see what is going on. Anyways, it is 19 minutes past the top of the hour. We are here at the Rated R Safety Show on RadioBig.fm and SafetyFM.com. So, by the way, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Tuesday tweeted a graphic that said, "Truck, yeah," with no other caption, obviously in solidarity with the truck protest. So just want you to know on what it seems like the new movement will consist of. So if you're looking for something, you got something that's right there that seems like that's going to be the move. Now, what do you think about this? What do you think about what's going on in Ottawa? Does it make sense to you? Is it one of these things that you'll be able to move forward and take a look and say, okay, this is something I'm going to jump in on, or are you against it? I mean, there's numbers of things here that people will actually consist of and talk about and move forward with as they are doing all the things that they do. So you'll have to make that determination on what makes the most logical sense in regards of what you think should be done going forward from there. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. Let my people go. Mammoth University poll shows that 70% of Americans say that it's time to get on with our lives and accept COVID is here to stay. That includes 78% of people who have had the virus and 65% who say that they are not yet have not yet had it, to their knowledge, been infected. So what do you think about that? Do you fall into that category of 70% that say, hey, let's do life as normal? It's time to move on. It is time to move on, dear John, because that is what is going on. I don't know. I don't know where you fall. That is a great question to ask, I think, in regards of what do you want to see happen going on next. So before we actually move into the next section here, let's bring in Johnny Smalls and let him tell you what is going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. Equities continue the rebound Tuesday with the S&P 500 up about 0.75% by the end of the day. The rebound may be losing steam, however, because the move was small relative to the prior two sessions and faces stiff resistance in the short-term moving average. If the S&P 500 index cannot get back above the 30-day moving average within the next few days to a week, the market could be in for a retest of the recent lows. That retest may be caused by earnings. This week, more than 20% of the index reports for the Q4 period, and so far the reports have not been inspiring. At best, consensus estimates are being beaten, but the outlook for Q1 and Q2 2022 earnings growth is dimming. The economic data is not helping with the earnings picture. The data is expansionary, but the bulk of Tuesday's report reveal ongoing labor shortages and rising labor costs, which are underpinning inflation. The non-farm jobs report is due Friday and is expected to show more of the same. The consensus estimate is a mere 166,000 net new jobs, a dramatic slowdown from the previous few months. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one and letting us know what is exactly going on. Anyways, if you take a listen into the afternoons, John and his wife Heidi do a radio show here on Radio Big, hanging out, doing the things that they do, listening to some music together. They do some interview-style stuff as well. So if you want to take a listen, 3 to 7 Eastern time on RadioBig.fm, just for information purposes, for you to know what is going on. Anyways, let's get back on track with some other things. December was another near record for job quits, with 4.3 million Americans doing so. That was only slightly down from the 4.5 million who quit in November. There are still more than 10 million job openings across the country. Meanwhile, UPS is increasing their quarterly dividend to stockholders by 50% despite the decrease in number of deliveries year over year. The move comes in a report significantly higher fees per package. Also booming is the super yacht industry, which sold 887 units in 2021, a 77% jump from the 2020, and double of what they had in the year 2019. So there you go. Some things to think about. Some areas that are moving and grooving and booming and moving and going on. Anyways, if you want to come out and hang out with us and do some things, you can call in directly into our studio at callinradio.com. That is callinradio.com. That is our messaging system. That is our texting system. That is our video system. However format that it comes across, it will get to us directly on here. I just need to be paying attention to when it actually does go off. That's the fun part. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. UCLA ordered that all classes to go online on Tuesday out of the abundance of caution after former professor posted a video online with clips of mass shootings. The former postdoctoral research also posted a lengthy screen titled Death Sentence, which is part of the call of Death of America. Reports early on Tuesday indicated the professor was being monitored by law enforcement and that he is not currently in the state of California. While deranged, such postings are aren't necessarily illegal, just in case in regards to that. So I would love to hear more about this. In regards of what the guy had going on why he thought that this way might be a good idea to come about, hang out, and do this. But hey, I guess everybody has to do their own gig on how they want to do stuff, but it does make you probably ask some questions on what the hell were you thinking, buddy? Because probably not a good idea on doing this right now at that particular moment.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here we go. NASA has announced that it will bring the International Space Station out of orbit in 2031. It will be positioned to eventually burn up over the Pacific Ocean over the area of the most remote to land called Point Nemo. Yes, that's Point Nemo. Any remaining debris would also make the impact there, minimizing the threat of casualties and damage. So you already know that in 9 years, you're getting rid of that joint. So I guess this is where we start talking of what does the new build look like? Because that's going to be the next question, of course. Or do we are actually going to start colonizing a planet at that particular point? I mean, who knows anymore on what exactly is going on. So anyways, let's continue talking about some other things as we are 25 minutes past the top of the hour. Let me tell you real quick, probably about the most important thing that I will be able to tell you all day, because that's the way that it goes around here. And let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. What do you think about that? So, what do you think about it? Do you think that it's something that we should talk about all the time? I really think that it is, because it's something that we tend to not talk about so often. So maybe we should talk about it more frequently. Just saying. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Let's see. What else do we have going on real quick as we are talking this morning. I think we're close enough to do it. So let's go ahead and do it right now. It is close enough to that time of the day where we do what we call our main story. So let's talk about that real quick.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, 27 minutes past the top of the hours, as I was saying. So as you might be aware, you can watch Ponce Phil Groundhog Day prediction live. I think it starts, hold on, when does it start? I think we're close enough to know exactly what's going on here. Let me take a gander around here. We don't get some weird ad in regards of the middle of this thing, because I think that's going to be slightly important that we don't get some weird ass ad about something dumb in the middle of this. Hold on, let's take a listen. So it's live. We are Old Man Winter, more snow was what we're seeing here on one side. What are we seeing on the other?
6 more weeks. 6 more weeks.
Okay, hold on.
6 more weeks. 6 more weeks.
6 more weeks? What is wrong with people?
Well, there you have it. The prediction has been made. Enjoy your 6 more weeks of glorious winter weather.
Okay, so you're hearing it live. 6 more weeks.
If you really must go, be careful and get on your buses properly, but we do invite you to stick around. If you would like to come up on stage, take a picture with Phil. If not, mingle amongst our park at Gobbler's Knob. Free coffee.
So there you go. You can go to Gobbler's Knob if you want to do something right there. So anyway, 6 more weeks of winter.
For those of you who want to stay,
according to Ponce Phil. So Groundhog Day, people learned what is going to happen. According to the records dating back to 1887, Phil has predicted the winter more than 100 times. 10 years were lost because of no records were ever kept. So just so you know, so that happened right now.
Quickly across.
Okay, so there you go. So that's what Ponce Phil has predicted. So let's talk about that. So because automatically when we start talking about Groundhog's Day, you have to think about the movie right away with Bill Murray with the same title of Groundhog's Day. And maybe that's where the tie-in comes a little bit more interestingly opposed to anything else. As we take a look around and we take a look at Groundhog's Day, if you've seen the movie, as you are aware, what ends up taking place is that Bill Murray is living the same day over and over again because he's not getting things right. And I have to tell you that there has been times throughout my career as a safety professional that I have felt exactly in that exact format. I have felt that our lives have become more and more and more repetitive because things refuse to change and things have not been ran perfectly, and am I living just the same day over and over again? And I'll tell you, we can talk about it from this particular standpoint of, I can say, as a safety professional, but I will tell you that this also does occur in multiple different industries. This is not the only industry where people feel that way. But at what point does this actually impact you? At what point do you sit back and go, okay, maybe it's time to go to something else? Which I don't know if that's the greatest idea, but you have to make those determinations on what you think that is going to be best for you. But at what point do you pull the trigger and say, hey, things do need to be perfect? And what does perfect look like? Because I think that's where we get confused from time to time. I think that's where we get confused, where perfect is not perfect and things are just perfect examples of what we want. We keep on hearing a lot about people saying, let's drive to zero instances, zero issues. I will tell you, a day like yesterday, the Department of Transportation made a release that they want no traffic accidents across the highways in the United States. They're going to do a drive to zero. What? Okay, I understand the want and the desire, but how realistic is that altogether? So, do you continue to repeat the same day if you are in the Department of Transportation and you're unable to accomplish that goal? Are you unable to move forward and do the things that you want because that drive to zero does not occur? Let's just be realistic. Traffic accidents occur all the time on the highways. They happen pretty often. And that's the problem. We make these goals and we have these desires and things that we want to do that I don't know if they're obtainable. The thing is that if we start thinking too much about the future and planning out for all the horrible events that can actually occur, a lot more things that can go wrong we will think about than actually will. Think about that for a minute. Think about how realistic that actually is, opposed to it just being one of those conversations where people sit around and go, maybe it could happen. It's not going to. No, more than likely it will happen. We're going to always think about worst case scenario. We're always going to plan of, if this is the worst in the world, how can we make it the best? Just what happens inside of the realities that we live in. Let's just be realistic. So does Groundhog Day affect you? I don't know. Depending on how you want to take the swing to this thing, they just said 6 more weeks of winter. But how do you look at it? How do you look at it when you go day in and day out with it being the exact same thing over and over again? How do you go about going ahead and trying to get some of these things corrected? Are you able to? Or do you consistently keep them in the exact same format as you have them? That's my question to you. Because what I would love to see is you to be able to change something, but without it having that feeling, yes, I did say feeling, of it being the same repetitive thing over and over again. And how do you change that? That's my question to you. How would you go about in being able to change something along those lines? Think about that. If you're able to think about anything outside of the box today, think about how you would have the feeling of not living that same day over and over again. How would you make it different? But then again, what the hell do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone. No, seriously, I really am.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what could be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Feel it, cause I need it now. Money is a bitch in it. I don't wanna think about it. So if you know the song, sing it, cause I need it now. Take me to a place where the music's loud. I don't wanna think about it.
Okay, there you go. 38 minutes past the top of the hour. As we are hanging and banging here. Rated R Safety Show. Let's see. This is Let's Get Out. by Basics. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So there you go. If you want to go around and about and and do it, take a listen, take a gizmodo. All that fun stuff. You can do that right now. Hang out, take a listen, take a download, take a whatever, take a gimmick. Go out and spend all the money out on her, whatever, on him, whatever floats your boat. That's for sure. Okay, so there you go. Let's get it back into the move and the groove of what the things that are going on in our side of the world. So let's start talking about, controversy that creates cash. Okay, hold on. Maybe that's a book that we shouldn't be talking about right now at this particular moment. Maybe we'll talk about that at some other point. Anyway, so let's talk about a keto diet. Don't try it. What keto diet? Don't try it. Popular weight loss plans like keto and paleo diets may help you lose weight, but they could also lead to long-term health problems. A recent study in France suggests that low-carb diets can harm dieters' gut health. The gut health is the home of trillions of microorganisms needed for important bodily functions such as immunity, and communicating with the brain to regulate your mood. Your diet shapes the composition of the microbiome. Previously, researchers have shown that the unhealthy and processed food reduce the diversity of gut bacteria, leaving bad bacteria that can make you sick. The research also says, which appears in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, shows that as a result, the gut is supported by a balance between all food groups. Study authors concluded that having a rich diversity of foods in your daily diet is more important than gut health, than focusing on individual components of the diet, such as protein or fiber. So if there is one thing that Sheldon Primus doesn't have to worry about, is having a healthy gut. I mean, we and him talk all the time. I told my doctor that I wanted to start a vegan keto diet. He told me that was nuts. So that's just something to think about as we are talking.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's start talking about some other stuff because, that's always important as we are doing so. So let's go ahead and go through it real quick. Just because we're already here, mi amigos, let's talk about it. These days, you can't open social media without seeing a post showing several rows of gray, yellow, and green squares of Wordle. In the new word puzzle that's taken the internet by storm. But why has it? Well, this is where it's going to get interesting. Why has it become so popular and so fast? Well, here's the reason. Psychologist Sebastian Ocklerg says that many people love the challenge but don't have time for a puzzle that requires more than a few minutes. So it's perfect in today's world. Not only that, unlike other games like Sudoku or crosswords, Wordle performance feedback is given instantly. People are competitive by nature, and the ability to post the results on how many tries I did it that I need to have today. And compared to others in another key to Wordle's success, that's right, we're just looking for likes. Researchers show that likes on social media are a numeric representation of social acceptance. And the brain reacts similar to the way that it would react on winning money. Another aspect of Wordle popularity may lie on the so-called downward social comparisons. That's when you discover that your performance is superior to someone else's, and you've solved the Wordle in 2 tries and see that another person needed 5. It makes you feel accomplished, smart, successful, and may motivate you to play again and again and again and again. And on the other hand, if you discover that the others were better than you, it would engage you on competitive side so that you would try again and again and again and again. So, okay, on the next Wordle puzzle that appears online for 10 hours, 26 minutes, and 5 seconds, I'll see after my 10 hours, 25-minute nap to see how long it actually takes. Once I pulled my family in from a burning car and stumbled my 5 miles through a forest in minus than 10 degrees temperature to find out that I have never felt so powerful as when I got the Wordle in 2 lines. I mean, come on. Is that really the gig? Is it because I am able to pull off my Wordle in 2 tries and it took you 5, all of a sudden I am superior? I mean, what have we gotten to nowadays in this particular regards? Life does go on, dear John. Anyways, thanks for all the people that are hanging out this morning. Quite a few hanging out in the chatty. Well, not in the chatty. Hanging out inside of the world over here. Interesting to see you all this morning. Thanks for coming out, hanging out, doing the things that you are doing. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still hanging and banging here on the Rated R Safety Show. I think it's time for us to feel a little motivated this morning, and I think Johnny Smalls knows how to do that best, so let's get that moving.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Mike. Brian Chesky says, "Build something 100 people love, not something 1 million people kind of like." Cool quote, but there are 2 sides to this. If you think about the most successful franchise models in the world, they're based on something people like and buy often. But if you ask someone about their favorite burger or pizza or taco, the odds are against the franchises to be named. They're trying to appeal to everyone. The local places that people love, they're set to appeal to you and to your taste. Both models are okay, but you decide which one is for you. Then stick to it. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alessamorgan.com. Sometimes we find ourselves in a place where we want to improve a slow metabolism. This is where the concept of G Flux or energy flux comes into place. The effect of G Flux is demonstrated in the following study published in Journal of Clinical Nutrition. It analyzed data from 2 groups. The first group was told to reduce their calories and stay sedentary. The second group increased both caloric intake and expenditure by 500 calories. Despite both groups consuming the amount of calories equal to what they were spending, or zero net sum, only after 4 days, the second group showed higher resting metabolic rate, better nutrient partitioning, and better activated parasympathetic nervous system, which activates hormones that stimulate weight loss. This is how G Flux helps to repair metabolism. For additional resources, check out alessamorgan.com.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Russian President Vladimir Putin says the US is trying to draw him into war in Ukraine. France is becoming the latest European country to loosen COVID-19 restrictions. India is boosting spending on public infrastructure, committing $500 billion to driving growth as part of its annual spending plan, and the UK government's unveiling its long-promised so-called levelling up strategy.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, back to some magic here on the Rated R Safety Show. 47 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's get moving and talking about some other things. Doggy Digs, 5 stars is just about the best rating a luxury hotel can get, but this canine inn deserves 6 bones, according to dog owners. Cape Town, South Africa's Superwolf Dog Hotel and Daycare provides the pooches with well-to-do South Africans to do with South Africans with the kind of luxury treatment that even many humans in the country can only dream of. Some of the Superwolf amenities include 24-hour supervision, splash pool, along with walks of beautiful countryside in a nearby valley in the country of Western Cape wine growing region. More? Yes, I'll give you more. Among the hotel highlights is dog champagne, which is called Champals, basically water with herbs in champagne bottles. We're not sure if the mutts really really appreciate what the status symbol is, or just the fine jazz pumped through the facility. And with the notoriously, poor long-distance vision, so who the hell knows if they can see or not, what dogs make to view on the Table Mountain may be the sky deck. The facility has been providing luxury pet boarding services and well-to-do for South Africans for about a year and a half. How much does this treat for your dog to be treated like a king or a queen for a day cost? Well, just 165 South African Rand, or for you, $11 US, just so you can figure that out. Definitely gives a new meaning to the word stay boy, for sure. And it sounds so nice that it just like my kids at daycare, my dog would cry when I come home to pick him up. What? Or is that just me? I guess it's just a me thing. Sorry about that.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about Did You Know? Groundhogs are also variously referred to as woodchucks, whistle pigs, and land beavers. The name whistle pig comes from the fact that when alarmed, the groundhog will emit a high-pitched whistle as they're warning the rest of their colony. The name woodchuck has nothing to do with wood or chuckling. It is deserved of the Alcurian name of critters of woodchuck. This is according to the Scientific American, just in case if you wanted to know some useless knowledge for you for today. I'm glad that I was here able to provide that for you, because that's what I'm here to do. So let's continue talking about some other things. So if you remember a few years ago, we talked about Simon Cowell falling off a bike, which caused a serious back injury, and he was out for some time. Well, Simon Cowell fell off his electric bike again. A source told Page 6 on Tuesday that the 62-year-old was riding his bike and he slipped off and he hit the ground hard, smashing his face and breaking an arm. He was taken to a nearby hospital where he walked out hours later with a bright yellow cast on his arm. Eyewitnesses told the outlet that Cowell was not wearing a helmet, so he was lucky that he was not hurt more severely. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about the lottery real quick. No winner for Monday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for a $123 million jackpot, or an $84.7 million cash payout, just in case you were wondering. Anyways, let's talk about this because we talked about it at the very beginning of the hour. Whoopi Goldberg was met with a swift backlash after saying that the Holocaust was not about race, but rather about a man's inhumanity to men's on The View this week. Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenbelt came out swinging, tweeting at Goldberg that the Holocaust was about the Nazi systematic annihilation of the Jewish people who they deemed to be inferior race. Goldberg issued a sort of apology, later explaining that what she meant was that it was about both race and man's inhumanity to man. Worth remembering, Roseanne Barr was canceled over a joke that tweet about the actress Gina Carano was fired by Disney over the Holocaust Instagram post as well. So just some stuff to bring up that did occur earlier in a timeline that seems like it doesn't exist anymore in that particular lifetime. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a lot of interesting stuff happens all the time inside of our world here. Anyways, take a listen to this. Dr. Andrew Baker returned to the stand on Tuesday in the trial of the three former Minneapolis police officers. He testified about the harassment and threats that he received while performing an autopsy on George Floyd, saying that it was hundreds, if not more. When asked about the defense, if the threats and pressure caused him to alter his findings, Baker replied, "No, they did not." Court ended early because the witness was sick and could not appear. The illness was noted as not being COVID because, that would be something that we would need to talk about because we talk about COVID all the time now. So the trial should resume at some point today, just in case you're in the lookout for that. We're going to talk about this, which we normally don't talk too much about sports, but we're going to talk about it because the man is known as one of the greatest football players and athletes of all time, probably the best player to ever play the quarterback position. Tom Brady, 44, announced Tuesday that he is officially retiring from the NFL for real this time. He ends his 22-year NFL career with 7 Super Bowl rings, 6 with the Patriots and 1 with the Buccaneers, plus a plethora of other records and achievement. In his announcement, Brady said, "I loved my NFL career, and now it's time to focus on my time and energy on other things that require my attention. I've done a lot reflecting this past week, and I have asked myself the difficult question, and I am so proud of what we have achieved. So, I hope great times in his retirement. I mean, it is not bad times when you start thinking about it, that when it is all said and done, he is essentially going home to Gisele Bündchen and his family. I mean, it's not a bad time. Just take a look at it from that particular standpoint as we are talking. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today, if you want to know about them. Lauren Bushnell turns 32. Julia Fox, 32. Lil Debbie turns 32. Natalia Halcrow turns 34. Gemma Alterin turns 36. Emily Rose turns 41. Shakira, 45. Christy Brinkley, 68. Dwayne Chapman, a.k.a. Dwayne Chapman, a.k.a. Dog the Bounty Hunter, turns 69. Ina Garten turns 74 today. And David Jason turns 82. So there you go. You got some birthdays going on today inside of that particular world. By the way, now that I think about it, wasn't there a Dua Lipa concert last night presented by Truly? I don't know why that popped up during the birthdays, but it did. Anyways, if you want to know about some things that I heard back on this date, let's see. Back in 1996, Ali Landry, 22, is crowned the 45th Miss USA. She would go on to star in several Super Bowl commercials and be named one of the People's Magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People to appear in several films and TV shows. That happened back in 1996. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate today, well, I got some for you real quick. National Heavenly Hash Day, National Tartar Tot Day, National Tater Tot. It doesn't say tater tot, it says tater tot, which I'm sure it's supposed to say tater tot, but that's okay. National Groundhog's Day, and then, of course, National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. So there you go. There's some days of the year that you can celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. So there you go. Anyways, what else do I got for you? Got some whack facts. Male monkeys lose their hair on their heads in the same way that men do. On some Caribbean islands, the oysters can climb trees. Nike Air sneakers can be made out of straw, crocodile skin, and 14-karat gold. The human body glows in the dark, but the light must be emitted is too dim for your eyes to see it. A raw steak is about 75% water. And vanilla is mildly addictive. So there you go. Some things that you probably did not know. Just real quick, some scoops of BS for you real quick as we are getting close to the top of the hour here. It's Groundhog Day, and that's when 6 more weeks of winter can be predicted by a rodent. Punxsutawney Phil has been guessing the weather since 1887 and has been wrong about 61% of the time, and yet he still gets the front page news. So I guess fake news isn't a recent phenomenon. Groundhog's Day is today, in one of the days that we put in our faith in a rat unless they count the election day. I just read that a report that claims that that men lie 3 times as often as women, but remember, men conducted the survey, so it's probably like 7 times more often. Scientists claim that cows are social even if they have if they even have best friends. Actually, I think they call them beefs. Fact of the day, sex is biomechanically not different than eating large quantities of chocolate. Yes, 9 months later, you never have to explain who gave you the chocolate, so just think about that.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so here you go. If you need a random joke for today, I got one for you. An alcoholic is someone you don't like who drinks as much as you do. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What's the worst question you can ask on a first date? Boy, did a lot of that come to my mind right away. Here we go. If you need something for the water cooler today, try this one. Question. Nearly 60% of people with these don't use it in its original intended purpose. What is it? Do you know? 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 A garage. It is the question. The answer to the question is a garage. Just saying. Most people don't use it the way that is intended. Most people that I know don't park their cars inside of them. They have either a gym or a storage shed or something weird going on inside of that. I don't know what you see inside of your neck of the woods. Anyway, so there you go. That's going to kind of sum it up for us for today. Thank you for hanging out, taking a listen to what we have going on here on the Rated R Safety Show. Can't do what we do without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. So if you want to hang out with me, I will be going over exclusively to radiobig.fm to listen to some music, play some stuff, talk about what's going on inside of the world of entertainment news. So you can come out, hang out, and we can do all that stuff together. I can't leave you with a thought for today. I would love to leave you with this one. When we seek to discover the best in others, we somehow bring out the best in ourselves. Think about that if you can think about something today. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.